Well, good evening, everybody. We're going to wrap up day number 1 here at the 2019 Under 16 Invitational National Girls Baseball Championships, with Team Nova Scotia 1 being the home team taking on Quebec 1. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Hobson. Delighted you could join us wherever you're watching here on 360 Live. Game a little bit delayed as our umpires had some issues with traffic. It has been bad here in Bedford for sure. Close to our broadcast location, we can practically see the cars coming to a stall. And it has made the umpires. They are here now. The umpires will be Justin Ritzy, Chris Roberts, and Donna Kennedy. Home plate will be Ritzy. Of course, Ritzy plays in the Halifax Mets organization. He was at one time affiliated with the Halifax Pelham Molson Canadians, the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League. And he is So they're just doing the Quebec lineups. So let's do that starting lineup here for Quebec. Thalie Corey will be the center fielder. She'll bat first. Batting second will be Lauriane Quebieux. Batting third, the extra hitter, Rosalie Dufresne. Batting fourth, doing the catching, Jenny Labrie. Batting fifth, Nomi Letendre. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Neme Bolduc. Batting seventh, Delika Dumoulin will be the shortstop. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Ella de Bedard. Raphael Auger will be the third baseman. And batting 10th will be Charlotte Elie, the right fielder. And they will be facing Molly White, the pitcher here for Team Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia has yet to hit the field. They are doing the pre-game ceremony, the opening ceremonies here of the championships. So we're going to try to eavesdrop on that conversation. So the opening ceremonies have just wrapped up here at Robert Lenahan Field in Bedford, Nova Scotia. We went through the Quebec starting lineup, and let's take a look at the defense here for Team Nova Scotia 1, who won earlier today. They are 1-0, so going from left field, Shauna Galloway will be the left fielder. Center fielder, Ellie McCauley. Right fielder, Dylan McLean. From third to first, it will be Julia Konishofer, as well as Bradbury, the shortstop. Second base is Fenway Ryder. First baseman, Rachel Crawford. And doing the catching will be Elizabeth Gavel. And on the mound, pitching is Molly White, as Team Nova Scotia hits the field for their final game of the day. As I mentioned, Justin Ritchie, Chris Roberts, and Donna Kennedy, the umpires here for this one. Our update game here at 6:30 will be British Columbia versus Manitoba. That will be on the Joan Lenahan Field, and that one will be called by our broadcast colleague Michael Petter. But we will be giving you updates throughout the evening here, letting everybody know what's going on here at day one of the championships. Game running a little bit behind due to traffic issues. The umpires having difficulties getting here. And of course, the opening ceremonies for 6:30. Some of the teams having a chance to, maybe settle down in their apartment buildings or hotels for the night. Meantime, Nova Scotia and Quebec, as well as British Columbia and Manitoba, will wrap up day number one. And we're glad to bring you the Nova Scotia-Quebec game. This is a really good team. They have a current record of 16-4-1 and a Bantam A. Thali Corey will come up to the plate here for Team Quebec, getting things started. 16-4-2, second place, Bantam A. Montreal League with the boys won the St. Hubert tournament, Bantam A boys division. So this is a tough Quebec team. Girls played together during the season. 45-game schedule against A and AA grade guys. So they are going to be a team to contend with here at these championships. That is for sure. Molly White dealing early here. This is Corey, as we mentioned, out of Trois-Rivières, Quebec. Has been playing since 2003. She actually hit 2 cycles in one game. And her favorite player, well, this is not a surprise. If you're from Montreal, if you're from Quebec, your favorite player's got to be the Los Angeles Dodgers, Russell Martin. Here's a bouncer that will go foul. And fielding that out of foul territory, Rachel Crawford. Getting her first bit of action. She didn't see any action in the game earlier today. Getting a chance to play first base. White ready to deal here to Corey. And that's high, and Corey has worked herself for a walk. Lauriane Carrier comes up to the plate now for Team Quebec. So a little bit of early difficulty. Throw over. Corey back in time. Lauriane Carrier has been playing since she was the age of 7. Says her biggest influence is her dad. She first made Team Quebec when she was 12. and she's been on the team for 4 years. So, you know, you get to these championships, and sometimes you need veterans here to drive you to a championship. Lauriane Carrier may be that for Team Quebec. Corey back in time easily again. That is a cat and mouse game with White and Carrier now. Corey with good speed. Not going on the pitch, and that's outside. Ball 1 there to Carrier. Rosalie Dufresne on the on-deck circle here for Team Quebec. La Belle Provence. Right on it, but chipping it to the backstop is Carrier. Lots of options here for Team Quebec here. See if White, when she throws over, has a little bit of a different look for Corey. Corey going now on the pitch. Gun down. And a stolen base there for Corey. And she did a fantastic job staying on the bag. Fenway Ryder right there with the glove on her all the way, making sure that she lifted up. She might get the out, but it didn't materialize, so Corey's up to second. Carrier. That ball's in the dirt. Nothing. And a big block there by Gavel for Team Nova Scotia. There's a pop fly. Crawford on it and sails by. So Carrier will have another life. That must be the ones that sort of, I guess you could say, you know, you give second lives. Carrier may make Team Nova Scotia 1 pay for that one, as Crawford just unable to get to it, misread it. And Carrier having herself a great at bat. White looks at Corey, deals, and that's high and outside. Back-to-back walks here for Team Quebec. Rosalie Dufresne. Rosalie Dufresne. Left-hand hitter and trying to make sure that this one doesn't get out of hand early. Team Nova Scotia decides to go to the pitcher's mound. Justin Ritzy coming out to break up the conversation. Rosalie Dufresne out of Quebec's been playing for 12 years. Won gold at last year's 16 under championships. Wants to join the Army. Says her family is her biggest influence. And if she gets to Championship Sunday, her walk-up song will be the Hall of Fame. There's the bunt being shown. And she'll take a strike. 1 the count here to Dufresne, the extra hitter. You can see that, of course, with the defending champions here, you gotta, as that one sails to the backstop, so everybody go up another 90 feet. Second and third. Decision time now here for Team Nova Scotia. Do you try to cut that run down at the plate? Looks like they're going to play back, and only the third baseman there for Team Nova Scotia is in. Kornishover. Kornishover is the third baseman. She's going to play tight end. Everybody else is back, so something on the ground. They're going to trade it out for a run. High again as White having difficulty finding the strike zone here. Jenny Labrie, the catcher, is on deck. White deals again. There's the bouncer up to short. They do concede the run. And Bradbury firing it over there to Crawford. Corey scores and out, but Quebec is on the board. Labrie to the plate. A vocal Quebec crowd here. Been playing since 9 years old. Her dad is her biggest influence. Doesn't have a favorite team, so that makes it easy. Actually, I think sometimes when you don't have a horse in the race, when it comes to baseball playoffs or sports playoffs in particular, when you don't have one, it makes you more enjoy the game. Just sit back and enjoy it just for all its beauty. I've had tons of that. A Tampa Bay Buccaneers NFL fan, an Ottawa Senators hockey fan, and a New York Mets baseball fan. If that's not a, recipe for just sitting back and enjoying a game, those playoff teams have not had a lot of success, although the Mets are starting to turn it around as of late. Labrie gets a walk. She has no idea what she wants to do in the future. That's A-okay. She should concentrate on these national championships. And now, Nobi Latandra to the plate. So runners on the corners here. And only one out. They're getting around on that one on the first offering and sending that foul. So runners on the corners as you see. Here's the offering. Strike two. It's a piece of the corner, says Justin Ritchie. No balls and 2 strikes. Tundra. The ton. She'll go down swinging. They'll actually go down. I'm not sure if they're going to get it over in time. In the meantime, Labrie will go into third. So Nova Scotia had a plan. They drew it up, but it didn't come and work out to their liking. Nene Barduk-So, the left fielder up here. With now a runner at third, 2 down. Quebec up 2-0. Well, they've done this without even a hit yet. Base on balls, hurting Team Nova Scotia as well as Molly White. And that's high and outside. Here to Barduk-So. Delika Dumoulin, the shortstop, will be up next. If Barduk-So can keep it alive here for Quebec. 2 runs and no hits so far. Swing and a miss that time. 3 walks in the inning here for Team Nova Scotia. It has cost them 2 runs. There's a liner and, well, foul. One of those atom balls, and everybody in the stands was on their toes with that one. There's a pitch, and that is well hit, and that will score the run. And Galloway has to get on her horse to come up with it. In the meantime, Barduk-So is standing at second base with a double. An RBI double, and it's 3-0 for Quebec. Delika Dumoulin, the shortstop. A very vocal Quebec crowd in attendance here at the Robert Lenahan Field. Gavel and White having a conversation. Now, this will be interesting to see what decisions here that the coaching staff of Team Nova Scotia is going to do here. And they're going to make a pitching change. Molly White. And they'll go to Crawford now. Will come in. Looks like Molly White will now go to first base. And you can see the importance of this game as Crawford to the bench early. That's got to be disappointing for her. Get a chance to get into the championships and can't really get in at bat as Avery Smith is in relief. So Avery Smith will hit in the 6th order. Try to just put out this fire here. Quebec off to a good start, 3-0. So White has difficulty getting out of the first inning. Avery Smith on in relief, and they're going to ask her to get some outs. And if anything, try to also keep that pitch count out. So White to first base. Avery in will take Rachel Crawford's spot in the lineup, which is 6th. Delika Dumoulin, the shortstop here for Team Quebec here. Not sure what the yell's about, but no score between British Columbia and Manitoba there. That's a pop fly to right field, and making the catch there and putting out the fire, Dylan McLean for Team Nova Scotia 1. Not the start that Team Nova Scotia was wanting here. Giving up a 3 spot in the first inning, and really no hits as it was all base on balls. Actually, sorry, they got 1 hit, 3 runs on 1 hit, and there were no errors and 1 left on. So regardless, Quebec will take it as Nova Scotia is coming to bat here at the bottom of the first, trailing 3-0. So heading to the mound, they're having a little bit of a cushion, a little bit of room to breathe. Lauriette Carrier, number 33 here for Team Quebec. And this is the lineup that she will face. Batting first for Nova Scotia, number 19, Ellie McCauley, the center fielder. Batting second, doing the catching, Elizabeth Gavel. Batting third, now first base, Molly White. Emma Bradbury's the shortstop. Bat fourth, batting fifth, Dylan McLean, the right fielder. Pitching and hitting in the 6th spot, Avery Smith. Batting 7th, third baseman, Julia Konik's chauffeur. Fenway Ryder is going to hit in the 8th spot, play second base, and Shauna Galloway is the left fielder, batting 9th. As we mentioned, Lauriane Carrier will be on the mound pitching, but Quebec's already got that bullpen up and going. They have Lydia Lefebvre doing some tossing, so that would almost indicate that maybe they're going to try just to get through this first inning with Carrier and go with committee the rest of the way to try to save on some arm strength, but Ellie McCauley, the center fielder, leading it off for Team Nova Scotia, and they've got some work cut out for them. Walks and errors, they hurt you in this sport. And there was 3 walks in that inning. Here's a ground ball, easily hit the third base and out. So McCauley, 1 pitch, 1 down. Elizabeth Gavel. So McCauley pretty anxious to get into the batter's box. Here is Gavel, the catcher. Puts her arms, indicate that it's high. So it's a ball. Want to know the count. Gavel comes up. Big swing, comes up empty. And Gavel with a big swing, and that's going to have extra bases written all over as it goes all the way to the warning track. Gavel happy just to settle for a double on that big fly to left field. Balduc Sol, nothing much she could do with it. Tried to get on her horse quickly. Molly White now has a chance here. She started the game, is back at first. Maybe hoping to try to help her team get a little bit closer here. Trailing by 3. Bottom of the first, that's high for ball 1. Well, Lefebvre is ready. Boutelier, the bullpen catcher, the backup catcher here. There's a ball head up the middle. That will get through. Gavel had to hesitate, so she'll have to stop at third. Now runners at the corners here for Nova Scotia with 1 out, and Emma Bradbury, the shortstop, coming to the plate. Emma Bradbury out of Hatchick Lake, the 15-year-old. Looks at strike 1. And they'll throw over to first and easily back in time. There is White. Not a bad idea for Carrier. Definitely don't want to really put another run in scoring position, but you're in a situation, you have a runner at third. What do you do if you're Team Quebec? And Bradbury gets a piece. So now she's trailing in the count. No balls, 2 strikes here to the shortstop. White goes, hit and run on as it's fouled into the screen. Brandon Godet and Chris Langell not afraid here to try to turn up the temperature. They've pretty well have got no choice, trailing by 3. Bradbury going to try to foul off a few pitches here. Stays alive. Pretty well got to go in that mode that if you want to keep the at-bat alive, you're going to have to foul off some of the pitcher's tough pitches. Bradbury is doing that. Now she has to stretch here. This could be a tailor-made double play. 4-6-3, and they get it with the nice little stretch by Latandra. And that's a rally killer, absolutely. 4-6-3. You can hear the Quebec fans showing their appreciation. Nova Scotia was kind of hoping maybe for something good or something positive to take out of that inning. It didn't materialize. Gavel's double stranded at third. So a couple of hits there for Nova Scotia, but no runs and no errors and 2 left on. So we'll head to the second. It remains Quebec 3, Nova Scotia 1. No score. And we're back here. Second inning on 360 Live's continuing coverage of the 2019 Under-16 Girls Invitational National Baseball Championships. My name is Dan Hobson. Due up, Ella De Bedard, Rafael Auger, and Charlotte Illy. The 3 batters scheduled to face Avery Smith, who was not really expected to be coming into the game this early, in relief of Molly White. White stays in the game to play first base, and that's fouled right in the shin, and that's going to be a big ouchie bro there for Bedard. Rubbed it off pretty quickly and seems to be okay, and back ready for the offering here from Smith. Smith's offering is just a little bit low here for the Justin Ritzy's liking so far. Wind up here from Smith. There's gas, and Bedard takes a seat. First strikeout there for Nova Scotia 1 pitchers here this evening. Rafael Auger to the plate now for Quebec 1. There is 2 Quebec teams. There's a rip. And that's well foul. That's a little bit of a scare there for Auger. Making Team Quebec was her accomplishments. Wants to sports study in baseball. Well, you're going to take your passion and you're going to turn it into a career. Sounds like a good idea. Been playing for 11 years as that's fouled. Quebec trying to add more runs here in this game here in the second inning. Smith throwing up the K's. Another one caught looking. 2 down. Charlotte Illy. To the plate. Winning gold at the 16 unders last year was her biggest accomplishment. Biggest influence, the older players on Team Canada. Yadier Molina, the athlete, of course, really good catcher there for the St. Louis Cardinals. Favorite team, the Astros. Ducks away from that one, but actually hits it. Strike zone, of course. Quebec with some old style sort of Blue Jay uniforms there. Rip the second. Ryder comes up with it over to White. And that retires the side, so the shutdown inning that Nova Scotia needed, they got. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on for Quebec. So Nova Scotia has to get back onto the sticks with McLean, Avery Smith, and Koenig Schuffer for Team Nova Scotia 1. By looking at my screen, we might have lost the live stream again, so we're going to get everybody up to date. 3-0 the score, as you see, as we're into the bottom of the second. My name is Dan Hobson. Glad you could join us here for 360 Live's coverage of the 2019 Under-16 Girls Invitational National Baseball Championships from Bedford, Quebec, with 3 runs in the first. 3-0 lead. A lot of walks there. Of course, Molly White started the game for Nova Scotia. In relief is Avery Smith, and definitely an early relief appearance. And you know the importance of this game when already for day number 1 of the championships, Team Nova Scotia went to the bullpen for Avery Smith. So Dylan McLean leading it off here for Nova Scotia 1, the right fielder. Strike 1. Dylan McLean out of Fall River, Nova Scotia, the 15-year-old. Looks at that offering. That's at the knees for strike 2. Likes catcher Danny Jansen. Was the Cleves Athlete of the Month last year at my performance at the 14 under Atlantic. She pops it up. Second baseman going back for it, but it's going to be no man's land or no woman's land, whatever you want to call it. And it drops in for a hit. So, you know what they say in baseball, bloop and a blast, and you're back in it. That's what maybe Team Nova Scotia is hoping for. Avery Smith. Tries to offer at that bunt and strike 1. The technique, not really what you'd like to see at a batter. You have to basically play the bunt as if you're trying to catch the ball, rather try to stab at it, and that's what she tried to do. You also got a bunt at strikes, and I know that's probably what the coaching staff of Langell and Gannett are going to say here. And now Avery Smith out of Sprague Hill wants to do healthcare field. Says her parents are her biggest supporters, biggest influence. Labrie comes up gunning, and easily back in time is McLean. Like to do those snap throws. I think one of the best catchers ever of the snap throws I've ever seen. And I'm going to go way back into 1987 for, he actually played for the Blue Jays too. Benito Santiago could do it from his knees. It was impressive. Quebec fans start to get on. There's a ball, it's ripped. Oh, to left field, so runners at first and second now. Avery Smith got down in the count. Her favorite player was the Toronto Blue Jays' Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Julia Koenigshofer, the third baseman. She also pitched earlier in the game, so that's the thing to get to Nova Scotia now is all of a sudden the arms may be starting to dwindle off with 2 games. The thing I think Molly White's job was to do was try to get at least 3 innings. That didn't happen. That's fouled off there by Koenigshofer. Carrier still on. Originally, earlier, Lefebvre was warming up in the bullpen. British Columbia has a run in their game, 1-0 over Manitoba, and that is in the bottom of the second. Michael Petter with that update for us. And that's high, and Koenigshofer works herself for a walk, so all of a sudden, Quebec here with a 3-run lead. It's full of Nova Scotians with Fenway Ryder coming to the plate. Highest grade in ever subject and highest overall GPA was for 2018-2019, grade 9 school year for Fenway Ryder. Likes the Red Sox, of course. That should go, you're named after the ballpark. You gotta kind of have to like the Red Sox. It's like, doesn't make any sense. What's your favorite team? Chicago White Sox. Here's a ground ball, and that eats up the third basewoman there for Team Quebec. Auger has difficulty, and Nova Scotia has a run on the board. Shauna Galloway. Let's see if this starts getting Quebec going. They've got 1 run on the board here, Nova Scotia, and none out. And they're going to come in and they're going to have a nice little talk. There's been a lot of conversation. Of course, this is a national championship. You can't win it on day number 1, but you certainly can take yourself out of the race out of it. Sun's starting to disappear over the... It's actually pretty comfortable right now, so if you're actually in the area, you can come on down. Stadium is pretty good, and just as soon as I say that things start to get a little bit on the uncomfortable side, Team Quebec once again getting things going, getting that bullpen going. You can see that the starting pitchers here in this game are on a short leash. Lydia Lefebvre up for the second time. There's a ball that's hit the right field. And a nice catch, but everybody's going to be able to advance. Wait a sec, there is confusion. Koenigshofer is stuck in no person's land. And she gets doubled up. Chris Langell with the hands on the hip. Second double play of the game. Back to the top to Ellie McCauley. Grounded to third and her first at-bat of the game. Just like that, moving in is Latondra to hold Ryder. The double play, the best friend here of Team Quebec. They got one in the first. They just got one there in the second. Koenigshofer was off to the races and just hung out to dry. Nice little trap there. Beautifully done by the shortstop there. Dumoulin gets in the way of it, knocks it down, and makes the easy toss to second basewoman Bedard, and that retires the side. Nova Scotia thinks they get a little bit of momentum, and then all of a sudden double plays have taken them right out of what was a potential inning, but at least they chipped away to get one run if you're a Nova Scotia fan. 3-1, Quebec leading Nova Scotia after 2. Providing support to many national sport organizations includes Baseball Canada. Sport Canada is directly responsible for the athlete assistance program that provides support to elite baseball players while attending college or university. Sport Canada has been a strong supporter of Baseball Canada for many years and has contributed financially to many activities. A special play ball from Sport Canada. Top of the third is where are we going now? And that gets through for a base hit. Quebec not wasting any time on the sticks. Corey starting it off there with a single here in the third inning. Lauriane Carrier. Imagine she will probably stay the game. They will take her off the pitching mound soon. Lefebvre has sat down once again. Now they'll send it over. Almost got leaning and going the other way. With Stali Corey. Smith looks over. Gets ready to deals here. On the ground. Nice stop there. They'll get one at second and not in time to get the out at first. But Corey retired on a nice play. Koenigshofer coming up with it there for Team Nova Scotia. And that was a big scoop. So Carrier will be out of a fielder's choice. Rosalie Dufresne to the plate. Well, pretty well, Corey and Carrier just exchanged positions. One down now. Back over. Nice move there by Smith, but Carrier, no problem getting back for Quebec. Left-hand hitter Dufresne, the extra hitter here in this one for Team Quebec. Looks at a high fastball. 1 ball and no strikes here. Carey looks like she wants to go here. We'll see if she's off to the races. Hesitates. Now on the move, gets down to second and goes in standing up. And I know that the coaching staff is not going to be too pleased with that. That was a lot closer than it really needed to be. Smith did everything, waited as long as she could, and then went to the plate. And Carrier to second now. There's a ball that's hit up the middle for a base hit. Carrier will stop at third. Dufresne easily puts the brakes on it first, so it's the corners again, and Smith once again in a pickle for Team Nova Scotia 1. Defending champions of this event. And they have Nova Scotia on the ropes again, and it's early. Not only early in the championships, but early in this game. Only in the third inning, but you can see we don't want to get too behind on this strong Quebec team. Smith deals. There's a pop-up, and that's what the doctor ordered. Molly White will come and take the ball, take charge. Fenway Ryder was in the neighborhood as well, but a much-needed out. Letendre. As Labrie, the catcher, popped up for out number 2. Nobi Letendre here with the runners at first and third here for Quebec. 3-1 the score. Big cut there by Letendre. Comes up with nothing for strike 1. As you see, Letendre looking down for the sign, and immediately Gaval comes out and sets the defensive alignment here for Team Nova Scotia 1. Good sense that probably Dufresne will be going here on this pitch. She hesitates. There's a bouncer. Gaval there showing that she's a very good catcher. Put her body, sacrificed her body for the good of the cause. Blocked it out. Very close stance, as you see there from Letendre. There's a ball. It's ripped, and that will be just foul. Not sure if our microphones picked it up, but of course, the right fielder there, McLean, said, "Can you see?" Well, he says, "Yes, I can." So she wanted to make sure to throw that in cleanly as possible. There's the pitch. There's a chopper back up the middle. Ryder has it on the run, and they'll get out of the inning. Well, it hasn't been a Picasso there for Avery Smith, but she has done the job since coming in, has put zeros on the board. Quebec threatened there. They had 2 runners on base on the corners, but they were unable to cash them in. So we'll head to the bottom of the third now. Score remaining Quebec 3, Quebec 1-3, Nova Scotia 1-1. If that's not confusing, I don't know what is. We sure hope you're enjoying these championships. My name is Dan Hubbs. Delighted you could be here with us here from Bedford, Nova Scotia, day number 1. Wrapping things up here with 2 of the teams that you have to think will probably be in the medal contention. There's also, of course, a lot of teams that have a lot to say about it. 10 other teams here at the championships. 12 teams in total. Defending champs Quebec with a 3 spot in the first. Nova Scotia, they have sort of threatened, but the double play ball has been a little bit of a victim for them. Gavel out of Weymouth was due up, as well as Molly White and Bradbury for Team Nova Scotia here at the bottom of the third. Carrier still on, but anytime Nova Scotia has threatened. The coaching staff of Quebec have gone to Lefebvre. She's gotten up twice here so far. Both pens are empty right now. As the catcher, who doubled here in the first inning. 1 for 1. Batting now for Team Nova Scotia 1. That's well outside and has to be retrieved there by the catcher, Labrie. That's a duck goose of the way of that one. Carrier not afraid. Oh, Gavel thought that was ball 4. Was about ready to chuck the bat and head down to first. Justin Ritchie says, hold on a second. Gavel, that's strike. There's a pop, right side. Easily going back there is Dave Bedard and can't hold on to it. A gift here for Nova Scotia. Molly White to the plate. You know that Nova Scotia is really hoping, desperately trying to get something going on offensively. Here's a throw over to first as they go check on Gavel. Gavel with an aggressive lead. Gets another throw. Maybe see if she could stretch this out maybe another couple steps there. Carrier's got not a bad move to first. Now she'll go to the plate, and she's high for ball 1 here to White. Gavel try to stretch that lead out once again, and Carrier looks back, fires, fames high. Labrie decides to go to first. A nice idea by the catcher. Latondra actually had to come off the base as the throw was not on line. It could have been disastrous there, as Gavel could have had easy access to third base. Stands packed here for this one. Another high one here to White, and that's ball 3. White in the driver's seat. See if she takes this 3-0 offering. She does for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. So double play deaf here for Quebec. In on the corners. Middle infield back. Ball ripped up the middle. There's a short. Then they'll go 4-6-3. Double play again. Third one of the game. You know, championship caliber teams, they just seem to find a way. They may get into a hole, but they seem to dig themselves out of it. Defending champs did that as Bradbury trying to find the gap. And unable to make the catch there was the center fielder. A good try there by Corey. Unable to hold on to it. It had it for a second, and then when she landed on the ground, that's when it bounced out, I thought she might have hurt herself on the play, but she's A-okay and all right. In the meantime, Bradbury is on at first. Dylan McLean to the plate. Guerriere has had a, as I said, it's not a Picasso for her, but she has fought, and her defense has helped her out. 3 double plays in this game. It just seems like Nova Scotia gets something going, and the rug gets pulled from underneath their feet. McLean hoping to keep it alive. There's a pop. And Corey right there with the can of corn to make the catch to retire the side. Nova Scotia gets a single out of Gavel, and the double play ends that one. They leave a runner. So Nova Scotia still trailing this one to Team Quebec in a really good baseball game here from Robert Lenahan Field. As we head to the 4th, it remains Team Quebec 1, under 16 team 3. Team Nova Scotia 1, under 16 team 1. You know, the thing is, I think I love about covering championships like this and even attending championships here in Atlantic Canada. When Quebec travels, they have a big fan base that comes with them, and they are vocal. And you can hear them every once in a while here in our live stream broadcast. Now for Brandon Cadet and Chris Langell, what's the game plan in terms of Avery Smith here? You know, you need some zeros, but you also need to save the arm here. They're getting into a situation here that Konigshofer was the starting pitcher and then was relieved by Bradbury. So Konigshofer is not available probably for tomorrow. And Avery Smith's pitch counts must be getting up there, so she won't be available for tomorrow. So it was really kind of important here for White to try to get some outs, at least here in this 3rd as we head to the top of the 4th. Balduc Sol, the left fielder, leading it off here for Quebec. Bounces it off the plate. Smith, one bouncer, over to White at first for the out. Dumoulin, the shortstop, coming up. Reached on a fielder's choice there in the 1st. Both bullpens relatively quiet. The ball that's hit, and that's foul. I think that probably Carrier is at the end because Lefebvre, who was warming up, has grabbed the bat and has taken some swings there. Just right in front of our broadcast location, so she's got to come in here in a pitch hitting role. Dave Bedard is the on-deck batter. So Lefebvre will be the second pitcher, most likely here for Team Quebec. Balduc Sol, that one's down in the dirt for her on that offering from Smith. Smith from the windup throws high this time, so she's having a hard time finding it. Missed low, missed high. But she's done what she's had to do here, which is keep Quebec at 3 runs. That one didn't miss by much, and she wanted to call Justin Ritzy. Doesn't oblige. Can't always get what you want. Not only is it a song, but it's also probably something you could use to talk about. Smith deals back up the middle in between Ryder and Bradbury for a base hit for Balduc Soul. Delika Dumoulin. Comes up. No official at bat here for her. They'll throw over, and that's actually into the runner. It skips by White, and she'll have to go on her giddy-ups to get it here for Team Nova Scotia. In the meantime, Balduc Soul will move up to second base. Nothing yet from Brandon Gaudette and Chris Langell from the coaching staff of Team Quebec, or Team Nova Scotia, my apologies. Nothing yet. I'll go back to second. Fenway Ryder snuck in. Bedard to the plate. So it was Dumoulin with a single. Up to second base. Definitely Avery Smith well over the 40 pitch mark here in relief. She came in the first inning. White only got to 4 batters. They once again try to pick off, and they went to the can once too often. In the meantime, Dumoulin will move up the third base here. Gavelle and Smith. Gavelle with a pat on the back. No answers here from they need outs. Bedard takes a strike. Smith now happy just to go back to the windup again and misses high. So Bedard having herself a great at bat here. The second base woman here for Team Quebec. Sun really not much of a factor now as coolness starts to set in here. A pump fake by Gavelle sends Dumoulin back to third. Still 1-0 mid-4th here. The game between British Columbia and Manitoba. Ball hit the left field. Galloway comes up gutted, but that's not going to be in time as a sacrifice fly scores Dumoulin. First out of the inning, but another run makes it 4-1. Rafael Auger struck out in the second, so officially 0 for 1. Ball hit to third. Konishifer comes up with it. Low throw, scooped out by White. And that will retire the side. But Quebec will get another run on the board, and they'll have their 3-run lead back that they had to start this game. 4-1 as we head to the middle of the fourth. One run on one hit. Those white pearls sailing across the diamond out of the ballpark are supplied courtesy of Rawlings, the official baseball of Baseball Canada and all Baseball Canada National Championships. Rawlings baseballs have a full-grade cowhide leather cover, specially glazed sleeves, and quality wool windings. Rawlings is also the official bat, ball, and helmet of Baseball Canada's national teams. The top hitter at all Baseball Canada Championships this year will be awarded a Rawlings bat, so make sure you check out rawlings.com. Also, the Toronto Blue Jays continue to be an integral part in the development of baseball across Canada. Baseball Canada would like to thank the Blue Jays for their tremendous support to all Baseball Canada National Championships, along with providing their expertise and advice, which continues to enhance the relationship between professional and amateur baseball in Canada. Please visit bluejays.com. Go Jays, go! As you see, Avery Smith getting ready to step back in the box here for Team Nova Scotia here in the bottom of the fourth as we are moving on a Thursday night here in Bedford. Lights are on at the Joan Lenahan Field. I imagine probably soon here at the Robert Lenahan Field it will be. Avery Smith started the game on the bench. Ella Day Bernard was actually warming up now in the bullpen here for Team Quebec. And Lydia Lefebvre is in the game now here for Quebec, in relief of Carrier. Not much of a surprise, as she was up there a couple of times when Nova Scotia started some rallies. And now she's into the game here in the fourth inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the pitcher Avery Smith. Lefebvre deals, and that's down low and inside, so that'll make the count full, fill it up on a Thursday night. Swing and a miss. Smith goes down for out number 1. Julia Koenigshofer is up now, the third baseman, third basewoman, whichever term you want to use here. She got on with a hit and then had a little bit of a base running error in her head. And she gets hit by the pitch this time. These days, it seems to be the hit by pitch seems to get most reactions of the crowd of some things. As Fenway Ryder will come up here for Nova Scotia 1. Koenigshofer has to dive back in. The ball gets away briefly there from Latondra, but she's quickly on it there for Quebec. Didn't actually get too far away, maybe about 5 feet. So no advancement here by the Nova Scotia third baseman. And that one goes to the backstop. Labrie has to retrieve it. It's pretty easy to go from first to second with this backstop, but it's third to home. That's the hard one. Labrie will adjust her catching mask. Fenway Ryder digs in here on the offering here from Lefebvre. Outside corner for a strike. Fave from the stretch, and Ryder has to duck. So if Kadesha at second, it may eliminate the possibility of a double play. 3 double plays so far has really stunted the growth here for Nova Scotia. That one's bounced in. Labrie has difficulty. Kadesha up to third. Well, low scoring affairs pretty well all across the board. Still, British Columbia leading Manitoba 1-0. They're into fourth as they're cruising along. Pretty well, everybody's in pace here. Wrap up day one. And Labrie fakes that one, trying to catch them, but Ryder's going to head down to first base on a walk. Koenig-Schaffer didn't take the bait from Labrie. Labrie is now calling out signals here. Shauna Galloway to the plate. Of course, if you weren't with us earlier, this is a baseball family, this Galloway team. Dave coaches the under-18 AAA Hammonds Plains A's, a team that just came up shy of going to the Nationals in eliminations. Dartmouth Arrows won that one. Representing Dartmouth, representing Nova Scotia at the Nationals. Ewan Galloway, the very talented, good-handed shortstop there for the Hammonds Plains A's, and Nolan Galloway are her brothers. I have a good story to tell about Galloway. A few years ago, actually it was a couple of years ago, I was PA announcing and disc jockeying a game for Galloway, and I remembered that I wanted to do something, and I turned the song Ed Sheeran, Galway Girl, I turned it into Galloway Girl. Greg Marquis is named synonymous with baseball here in Nova Scotia, senior dry player and coach the under-18 and now coaching the under-21 Dartmouth team. His wife came up to me and said, it's Galloway Girl. And I was like, yeah, I just changed it because there was a Galloway in the building. So Galloway Girl will now make her way down to first on the walk. And I didn't know that there was an actual Galloway Girl when I came up with that one. I didn't meet the Galloway family until the first year, this year, doing stuff. So bases are stacked here for Nova Scotia. Just one down to the top of the order, Ellie McCauley. That's on the hit the second, and it eats up the second baseman. And Nova Scotia is going to play to run as Koenig-Schaffer comes across. And everybody moves up as all hands are safe. Gavel will come up. 4-2 now. Nova Scotia still not done. That's what they're thinking. We'll see what Lefebvre has in store. She throws the first pitch to the Gavel for a strike. Right down the pipe. No balls and one strike. Lefebvre mixed it up. A little breaking ball. I think might have lost the handle on it. It was well high. So that will even the count at 1-1. Gavel gets a piece. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. As the lights come on here at the Robert Lenahan Field. Ripped. Actually hits Fenway Ryder. The thing is, you're told to stay in foul territory. If it hits you, you're basically all right. But boy, that is going to leave a mark. She went down. That ball was ripped. And that, to use a Letterkenny term, is a big ouchie bro. And that is going to leave a mark. So she's okay. She's going to be okay in terms of being safe, but boy, she's trying to walk that off. Trying to get some feeling into that foot. And there really wasn't anything you could do. She's in foul territory, so of course that's where you're supposed to be when you're a runner at third. So if that situation comes up, you're not out. But that ball was just ripped. She never had really any reaction time at all to get to that, to get out of the way of that. Gavel now back in the box. Lefebvre deals. There's a change up. That's low. It gets away from Labrie. She's actually got to be called out there, as of course first base is occupied. So that's a strikeout there. For out number 2, Molly White to the plate. Molly White grounded out into a 4-6-3 double play in the third and singled in the first. And she was erased on a 4-6-3 double play by her teammate Emma Bradbury. Quebec, they've had their chances and they have cashed in. Nova Scotia, 3 double plays and bases loaded again. They have been in this game. The score is not any indication of how close this has been. You'd almost say it could possibly be the gold medal game for Sunday, but of course there's a lot of teams that have a lot to say before that comes to fruition on Sunday. White, and it's lined right to the shortstop. Dumoulin coming up big, and more runners stranded here for Team Nova Scotia. But they managed to at least get one on the board, 4-2, as we head to the 5th. Pitching change now as Avery Smith has been relieved. Elizabeth Gravel will now pitch. She has been doing the catching most of the games here today. And so that will make some defensive changes here for Team Nova Scotia 1. Riley Johnston, number 31, in behind the plate. So she will take the 6th spot in the order. So Lanissa Sillaboy, the only one left on the bench here for Team Nova Scotia 1. Jenna Boutelier and Clara Dupont, the reserves here for Team Quebec. So Gavel's got just one task in hand here, and that's to be in a hold situation here for Team Nova Scotia 1, trailing by a score of 4-2. They've been chipping away. Quebec scored 3 in the first, and they got 1 back in the 4th. Nova Scotia with 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 4th. That's where we stand. We head to the top of the 5th. Charlotte Elie to the plate now. She grounded out 4-3. There's a strike from Gavel. No balls and 1 strike here to Elie, the right fielder, in the number 9 hole. Hoping to turn it over here to Thali Corey, of course. 9-1-2 due up here in the 5th. A little bit of a waste pitch there by Gavel. well off its mark. Trying to see if Ellie would offer at it. It didn't. Now goes upstairs. So this will even the count at 2-2. That's inside, so that fills it. 3 balls and 2 strikes here to the right fielder. So here is what they call the payoff pitch. And it's a chopper. Konigshofer comes up with it. Friars are first in the stretch there by White. Throw was off the mark, but she managed to stay on the bag and get the glove in the right spot and make that catch. For the first out, Thali Cordy. Walked in the first, singled in the third. Actually, she walked in the first and walked in the third. I'll go back on it. It's 1 for 2 as she walked in the first and then grounded out to third in the third inning. There's a grounder to short. Bradbury, with lots of time, fires over to White. So Corey is retired. Lefebvre, who of course is batting in Laurier Carrier spot, second in the order. Lefebvre. The second pitcher for Quebec, getting their first at bat here of the game. And a grounder that just gets out of the reach of Bradbury and owed into center field. I said Avery Smith was not in the game. She's now playing second base. So Fenway Ryder. So Riley Johnson will take the 8th spot in the order for Fenway Ryder. And Avery Smith will still hit in the 6th spot. Throw over, not in time. See, Lydia Lefebvre, actually it is Laurier Carrier, so she's still in the ball game. Has one of those cages. You don't see these cages. You see them at softball levels because softball, of course, you have the smaller diamond. It's easy for me to say is Carrier's off to the races. The throw goes down to second, and, well, nobody was home there for Team Nova Scotia. Smith and Bradbury. Of course, Smith has not seen a lot of action probably at second base this year. She's in a role filling in for Fenway Ryder, who took a foul ball hard in the leg, right around the shin. So they probably have got their notes crossed there, Bradbury and Smith. So it was easy for Carrier to go up to second. Rosalie Dufresne at the plate. Singled in the third. 1 for 2. Still tight one there between British Columbia and Manitoba. 1-0 British Columbia leading that one. A good pitcher's duel there on the Joan Linehan field. Val deals, winds up. Dufresne. And Avery Smith gets on her horse and gets there to stop at, so they'll leave a runner stranded. And Another 0 put on the board. Quebec with 3 in the first and 1 in the third. 1 in the fourth, pardon me. So they'll head to the bottom of the fifth. And it's still Quebec leading by a score of 4-2 over Nova Scotia. A very tired bunch of girls, that's for sure, after the end of today. If you look out on the field and see those well-dressed umpires, we'd like to know that they're wearing the official umpire apparel from Kahunaverse Sports Group. Kahunaverse Sports Group is the official supplier of umpire clothing to Baseball Canada. Clothing is just one small part of the Kahunaverse Sports Group. Umpire supplies, equipment, shoes, and accessories are all part of their line as well. Get in the game with Kahunaverse Sports Group. The tournament's top defensive player and top catcher will receive a Mizuno glove. Mizuno is the official glove and catcher equipment for Baseball Canada's national team. More than 200 professional baseball players depend on Mizuno's baseball equipment every day to perform at the game's highest level. Visit MizunoCDA.com. Nova Scotia trailing this one as we head to the bottom of the fifth, 4-2 here on 360 Live's coverage of the 2019 Under-16 Girls Invitational Baseball Championships. As Bradbury takes a strike there from Lefebvre. No balls and 1 strike to the Nova Scotia 1 shortstop. That one's bounced in and evens the count at 1. Sometimes, you know, when you get into the sport like this, the sport of baseball, they say that you just have one bad inning, and that has been the case. Getting on her horse, coming up with that ball was Balduc Soul, as she had to hurry up and get on that one, as that was dropping pretty quickly. She'll make the catch for out number 1. Dylan McLean, the right fielder, singled and flied to center, 1 for 2. Well, something that we haven't had in quite a while is we have a little bit of a wind picking up. We had it to start the day, and it was a consistent going from foul pole to foul pole. Originally, earlier in the first game, with Nova Scotia 2 and Newfoundland, it was blowing to the outfield. British Columbia leading 2-0 after 5 complete. Michael Petterff the call there from Joe Lenahan Field. British Columbia, they have really put out some great baseball players. Of course, Larry Walker comes to mind. There's a pop-up. And running out of real estate there was Labrie for Team Quebec. So Avery Smith, the second baseman, on deck here. Labrie tried to get the dust out. As I said, the wind was starting to kick up. And now she'll have to duck out of the way out of that pitch. I know that you're looking at that picture there from in behind. Here's a fly ball to center field. Corey right underneath it for the second out. Finished by point. It looks a little darker than what it really is as the lights are on here. That will give you a little bit of a better description or better focus on what the field conditions are like. The lights are on. And right now, the home team running out of at-bats. They got 2 outs here in the 5th. they're down to their last 7 outs of the game. Hopefully, maybe trying to come from behind. This is a tough Quebec team, defending champions from this event from last year, and don't think Avery Smith liked that one too much there from Justin Ritchie. And Justin Ritchie just gets back in there. There's a ball that's ripped to right field, and just getting it there was Charlotte Elie. You can hear the reaction and the horns there from Quebec. A 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on for Team Nova Scotia there, the bottom of the 5th, so we'll head to the 6th. 4-2. Nova Scotia trailing this one to Quebec. Quebec fans try to get the wave going here at Robert Lenahan Field, and they're in good spirits. And if you look at the top of the corner of your screen, you see why. They're leading this one 4-2 as we head to the 6th inning. There's a ground ball hit to second. Smith has it over to first in time, and that will retire catcher Labrie there for Team Quebec. Latondra, the first basewoman, now up here for the team out of the Belle Provence. 0 for 2. They're still trying to get that wave going. Nova Scotia fans, well, they're a little bit downhearted. Not in the mood to party, why Quebec is. Guess the best way you could describe this game is the fact that it was probably a prized fight. If results stay as is, the only thing that really you'd have to say is that was that first inning, that one inning there for Team Quebec. 3 runs. Nova Scotia really unable to really bounce back. They've only really gotten in terms of that of a +1. Just trailing 4-2. Well, wanted that one. I didn't get the call. And that's right into the screen there as the tinned Latondra just made sure she just got something she could, got some bear on it. Now she's going way up, and that's popped way up. Is there going to be a play? No. One of the fans there in his seat there decided to try to get out of harm's way of it. And it just missed by probably about 5 feet. Both bullpens quiet for both teams here, so here in the late stages. Val missed with that. Quickly regroups. There's a bouncer. Smith now with the good hands. Quickly over to White for the second out. Ime Balduc-Sol, the left fielder. She doubled in the first. Upstairs, her ball one. Well off the mark. Down low. Johnston tried to freeze it for Ritzy, but Fritzy didn't bite. There's another bouncer up the middle, and Smith can't get there, and it goes out to center field for a base hit. Delika Dumoulin, the shortstop, and she has played a pretty good game at short. They had a couple of nice defensive plays. Not bad for her this afternoon as well, this evening, pardon me. Singled in the fourth. Gavel quickly over and easily getting back in time there was Balduc-Sol. I have a funny feeling you probably won't see anybody going anywhere as this one's ripped back up the middle for a base hit. Macaulay fields it clean. Balduc-Sol, they were trying to throw in behind her to try to catch her napping, and she was awake with that one. So it's A-OK. Couple of hits here for Team Quebec. 2 straight outs here for Gavel, and then 2 straight hits for Quebec. So it breaks it up to Ella de Bedard, the second basewoman. Actually, it's going to be Lydia Lefebvre hitting in that spot. My apologies. Lydia Lefebvre. Open stance for Lefebvre. Bounces in. Johnston uses her body, making sure that it doesn't get by. Slight breeze starting to pick up there once again from foul pole to foul poles. The pitch from Gavel is on its way, and that's well high. Gavel trying to shut the door here, at least not allow any more runs. The Nova Scotia has only been allowed to chip away at 2 back. That bounces away. Johnston has difficulty, so both runners will move up a base. Balduc-Sol to third and Dumoulin to second. Lefebvre has a chance here to, as she's actually going to go for a walk, so the bases are now loaded. So Raphael Auger, the third baseman. And really, if you want to be honest, this is your ball game right here for Nova Scotia. A single, and I think Quebec is probably going to really walk away with this. So that's the reason why Chris Langell went out to speak there to Gavel. Really can't afford any more runs here for Nova Scotia. They've been hard pressed just to get the 2 that they've gotten. Quebec team with talented pitchers. That's high for ball 1. Auger, the third baseman. Oh for 2, so Quebec having difficulty finding it now. That's in there for a strike. Johnston difficulty handling it, but 2 balls and 1 strike here to the third baseman. Johnston has to dig that out, so it's 3-1. So there's no room for error now for Gavel and Team Nova Scotia 1. And that's high. That will walk in a run. Balduke Soul steps on the plate. So they've got their 3-1 lead, their 3-run lead once again. Illy there with a rip. And it hits in front of Dylan McLean, and that will plate a couple more. In the meantime, the bottom of the order coming through with a big double. Two more across. 7-2. And that will be it for Gavels. Brandon Gannett will head to the mound, and Gavel will go play center field. McCauley will come in to pitch. So McCauley and Johnston will here. So pitching change here in the 6th inning. A 7-2 game as Quebec has blown this one open here. 3 runs, and they're still not done with runners at second and third. 2 out. The inning started off very well for, and then a single, a base on ball. Illy with a double. So McCauley's coming on here to in a really tough situation. And this is kind of got to be a little bit of our for Nova Scotia thinking, what if, is one of those games is that they were pretty well, toe for toe, even though the scoreboard doesn't indicate it. A few little bit of misfortunes, 3 double plays for them, and Quebec just cashes in on chances, but that's what championship teams do, is that you open the door a bit, they'll kick it down. That's what championship teams do, and Nova Scotia had chances, just couldn't finish, and that's what you got to do. Thayla Corey up here, her 4th at bat. Walked, grounded out a couple times, so. Collie looks back, deals, doesn't get the call as Johnston's unable to squeeze it there. Ball 1. Here to the speedy center fielder of Team Quebec 1. Another ball bounces in the dirt. 2-0 the count. Thing with McCauley, she never really had a chance to get any real warm-up pitches. There's a ball that's laced down the line. Fair ball, says Chris Roberts. Extra bases here for Corey, and now she's on her horse to get to third, and that will clear it all up as Auger and Illa come around to score a 5-run inning here for Team Quebec, and Corey to third triple. 9-2. That's down low. Lauriette Carrier started the game pitching. Breaking ball, looked like Carrier was trying to get dodge, and it gets a piece of the corner for a strike. Probably gets the side from Johnston here. It's a 1-1. Down low, 2-1. There's a pop. Dylan McLean circling it, comes up and makes the catch to get that third out. They started the inning with 2 outs. And then the wheels came off the bus for Team Nova Scotia. 5 runs there for Quebec, and they have busted this open 9-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. A close game no longer. So unless a miracle happens here, Nova Scotia will be 1-1 on day 1. But you have to think that you come in, you play 2 a day, of course, and the Quebec fans try to get the wave going. That is a big fan base. As you see, the shadows start to get a little bit more darker. 9-2. Koenigshofer at the plate now. And she rips that up the middle for a base hit. Koenigshofer with a hit. This will send Riley Johnson to the plate, her first at bat of the game. She's out of Prospect, Nova Scotia. Riley Johnson is. First pitch swinging. And why not? Johnson at a Prospect Bay, Nova Scotia, been playing for 10 years, been awarded the Nova Scotia Federation Award and Female Athlete of the Year for her school. Looking forward to beginning her high school years at Halifax West. Home of the Warriors. Here's a ground ball. Could be 2. To second for 1, over to first. Double play, number 4 for Quebec. Rally killers. Pitcher describes the story right there as that's Chris Langell there with his hands on his hip. Can't explain this one. That's a tough one. And now Brandon Cadet just simply emptying the bench as Lanisa Sillaboy is pitch hitting for Sean Galloway. So the bench is empty here for Nova Scotia. Of course, moving on to one of the things you got to be your Team Nova Scotia, you got to be concerned about the health there. Fenway Ryder took a ball in the shins. A foul ball. What that means for her the rest of these championships. Taking away bad out of the lineup. And what Brandon Cadet and Team Nova Scotia 1 are going to have to do here as Syllaboy gets a piece to stay alive. Syllaboy pops it up and will go back into the stands. Syllaboy out of Escasodi, Nova Scotia, 15 years of age. And she'll work a walk and turn the order over to the pitcher, Ellie McCauley. Syllaboy with not a really big lead. Of course, the score has a lot to do with that. It's Ella Day Bedard looks like she may be coming in here in the 7th for Team Quebec. As she is warming up. Off the plate and foul. See if McCauley comes out for the 7th inning. Pitch, and it's laced to right field, and that actually could get to the warning track. It doesn't, but in the meantime, Syllaboy to second, and McCauley, or to third, and McCauley to second there of a double. Gavel, the center fielder, coming up. Her uniform, well, she looks like she's gone to work today. Really, those white pants may never be white again. But no, I find a way that if your folks out there have those sort of white pants, you wonder how to do it. I've seen things where you actually take a pressure washer to try to get some of those stains out. Gavel sends one foul, and some of the fans were scurried for it. It's get to be twilight, so it's difficult to see foul balls. That's high. Nova Scotia continue to chip away, but boy, they're running out of at-bats. There's a pop fly. They'll come very close to our broadcast location, but not in. I didn't bring my glove. Don't often see people when they come to baseball games these days, especially locally, bring their glove. You do it to major leagues, but not this type level. There's a pop fly. And they have been stellar defensively here to South. They continue to be once again as Dumalong will make that catch here to end that Nova Scotia threat. So we're one inning away here from day number 1 being wrapped up. Continues to be Quebec 1 leading this one by a score of 9-2 over Nova Scotia 1. So why we have a little pause in the play here as Macaulay will come out. Let's tee up day number 2. Quebec 2 will take on Saskatchewan at 9 o'clock. This will be here for the Robert Lenihan Fields. And at 12 o'clock, Prince Edward Island will take on Nova Scotia 2. Then at 3 o'clock, Manitoba versus Quebec 2. And we'll wrap it up with Nova Scotia 1 versus Ontario. So that's how day number 2 will look. But Quebec 1 looking pretty good here so far, day number 1. (9-2) as we go to the top of the 7th. Rosalie Dufresne now up to the bat here, and that's a ball as it goes to the backstop. Silboy stays in the game. She'll play third base. Can't handle that hot comebacker. Going down the line, she gets a piece, but not enough for a base hit there for Dufresne. Jenny Labrie, the catcher, up. And for her, she walked to the first and scored, flied to first, and then grounded to second. That's been her resume here, and quick snap throw, and Dufresne's easily back in there standing up for Team Quebec. I'm going to try to stick with this wide shot here as the other camera lighting ain't the best, so we'll have this single shot here for the rest of the game, even though we're into 7th. It's chopped at the plate, foul. Didn't turn out to be too hot a day. They were expected to be the humid X at 35. Didn't really see a lot of sun until like late in the afternoon, right around about 3 in the afternoon. Breeze starting to pick up. There's a big swing and a miss. And Labrie says goodbye. Nui Latenda. The first baseman here for Quebec. She's got some size to her. Very tall, very good for a first baseman. It actually can go up and get those balls that are thrown really high. Looks at strike 1. Thought about offering at it, but I thought better of it. 0-1 count now. I thought cooler if the mosquitoes weren't supposed to come, but I guess that's old wise tale, I guess. That ball set foul, so Latenda in the hole at 1-2. Colley's offer it. It gets by. Actually, Johnson, but the first base is occupied, so that will be out number 2. Latendra, a strikeout victim. Ime Balduc Soul. Doubled there in the first and singled. Having herself a day. Takes a big cut on that McCauley fastball. Strike 1. And this is what's really great about the sport of baseball. Pretty well everybody knows what the result is going to be here. And you don't see Team Quebec continuing to run. Now, earlier in the game, at this stature, you see them going first or running to second base. Not the case. It's a 7-run game, and there's a little bit of baseball etiquette. You don't run up the score, and you don't run when you don't have to, and you don't bunt. Unwritten rule, there's a pop to short, and Bradbury makes the catch. So Nova Scotia, they'll have some work cut out for them here in the bottom of the 7th. Trailing by 7. So it could be a magic number, 7 runs here in the 7th. And Ella de Bedard here to pitch in this 7th inning for Team Quebec. Clara Dupont and Ginny Boudelier, the only reserves left. And as you take a look there at Clara Dupont, right in the bottom of your screen. The thing for Nova Scotia 1 is that, they have a little bit of time to regroup here. They played 2 today, so they only have 1 tomorrow. And that's against Ontario. We'll have that one at 6 o'clock here, 360 live. Molly White, Emma Bradbury, and Dylan McLean, the scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the 7th. Still 2-0 British Columbia over Manitoba. They are getting into the late stages of that one over there on Joan Linehan Field. Bedard's first offering is high, well out of the reach there of Labrie. Try to just take as much positives as you can here in this 7th inning for Nova Scotia, knowing that, well, you're not going to win this game. You'll fall to 1-1, but you know that you have 2. Yeah, a split's not that bad, but the hill only gets a little bit harder to climb when you face Team Ontario. When you face juggernauts like Quebec 1 and Ontario, makes your 1 win that you got even a little bit easier there. There's a comebacker back to Dave Bedard, and she'll throw it over to first in time. And that will retire White. And shortstop, Dave Bedard. The coaching staff went to go check on her. She says, "I'm all right, coach. I'm good. I'm good to go." Bradbury grounded out at a double play. Singled into third. And popped to left field. So pretty quiet day there for the shortstop. David Ard, a little high on that one. Here's the offering. There's a ground ball. Little bobble there by the shortstop, but they recovers just in time there as Dumoulin handled it, but took a look and realized had lots of time and threw a strike over to first. Nova Scotia down to their last out. And Dylan McLean will come to bat. What I think I'm going to do is, I know that people probably who are watching here on this live stream, that game between Manitoba and British Columbia has continued, and Michael Petter has the call there for that one. We'll quickly off so you can get to that game if you want. As they're into the closing stages, of course, it's also a closer game with it being 2-0. David Dard firing. Strike, 3, swinging, 3 up, down. Quebec happy. They blew it open late stages, and they walk away with a 9-2 win against Team Nova Scotia 1. And that will drop Team Nova Scotia to 1-1. Team Nova Scotia 1 to 1 win and 1 loss after the opening day. So, ladies and gentlemen, we sure hope you enjoyed a Day 1 coverage of the 2019 Under-16 Girls Invitational Baseball Championships. It's been a delight to bring it to you. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9. So we look forward to seeing you then. So on behalf of the production crew of John Briggins and Brian Fisher doing the production work, and of course my other broadcast colleague Michael Petter, my name's Dan Hobson. Thank you for tuning in, and so long from Bedford. You've been watching the 2019 Under-16 Girls Invitational Baseball Championships here on 360 Live. So long from Bedford.